Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Welcome to another great edition of Freed on Business. This is very lucky episode number 777. Wow. We're going to talk about business etiquette basics. We're going to give tips to the young people that are entering the job market for the first time, or maybe they're looking for that second job and they've been stuck behind a desk up until now. So we're going to talk about things you can do business etiquette wise to help you project yourself best in a networking situation. I want to thank our sponsors for the last 12, 13 years, going on 14 probably. Warren Henry Automotive. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Ismet, the whole team over there, Jack at Warren Henry Automotive. Remember, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can, check out Warren Henry Automotive. And back to the show. Today, we're going to talk about tips for young people that are looking for their first job in the job market. Maybe they've gotten their first job, but that was behind a desk. They haven't really been out there trying to find new ideas. So we're going to talk about the tips that they need to have to follow to really get things rolling. And the first tip is really obvious, but not that easy to accomplish. And that's go to everything and meet everybody. Oh, that's really easy to say, but really hard to do because there's way too much to go to everything. So how do you pick out what you're going to go to? I would say the first thing you do is find a mentor. Identify somebody that can guide you individually. Real estate in particular is a mentorship business. And if you look at the structure of all the real estate companies, they've always got a senior, a middle person, and a junior. And I think AI is going to soon get rid of the middle person, but that's the topic for a different show. So first thing is go to everything, meet everybody. How can you decide what to go to? Have somebody that's experienced guide you. For instance, if you're going to go into the shopping center industry, you probably don't need to go to the office stuff. If you're going to go into the office industry, you probably don't need to go to the shopping center stuff. But if you're going to go into capital markets, you probably need to go to both or neither. Maybe if you're going to go into capital markets, you want to go to the Urban Land Institute stuff. So really, you've got to figure out what it is you want to do. There's National Association of Mortgage Brokerage if you're going to do residential. So really pick the mentor that can guide you down the path that you want to kind of solidify your approach with. Then once you've decided where you're going to go with a friend. Don't go alone. That said, I always go alone. Pretty much, but I usually go and I meet a friend there. I know somebody. I've gone to enough of them, so I know somebody, and I never really want to stand alone. Whenever I see somebody standing alone, oh, here's a nice trick. I go up and say hello. They're usually confused, and they don't know where to start either. Everybody's there to meet somebody. It's just like when you were going out socially and dating. Just realize everybody's in that room to meet somebody, and you don't know if they're there to meet you or not, unless you go up and ask them. Guess what? All they could do is say, hi, my name is, and then go, oh, excuse me, I need to go speak to somebody over there. And oh, by the way, if you're talking to somebody that's really boring and off point, that's what you do. Oh, excuse me, my friend's over there. I promised I'd meet him. You got to excuse me. I'm going to go. I'll be right back. So now you're there with your friend. Your friend can kind of agree with you. Your friend can wave you over and ask you to, you can have a signal how to get out of a bad interaction with your friend, and you can give them the high sign, and they can come over and peel you away. So that's the number one. Number one, find a mentor. Number two, go to the event with a friend. Number three, when you're at the event, God forbid you should have alcohol. Don't have alcohol. The last thing anybody wants to do is meet somebody who can't say their name back at them correctly because they've got a tongue tied because of alcohol. So while you're drinking your ice water or room temperature water, put it in your left hand so that your right hand that you're going to shake hands with people stays dry and warm. Last thing you want to do is give somebody a cold fish handshake. Oh, they may never forget you, but not for the right reason. And always hold your drink in your left hand. Put your name tag on your right side because you want to go hi and stick your name right in their face. And hopefully they're doing the same to you. And then repeat their name over and over again. What I try to do is I try to link them up with somebody I know the same name. And I kind of link it up like that. So when I'm meeting Bob, I'm meeting my friend Bob, who's got a 5-head and gray hair and a mustache. That's how I remember the Bobs. Regans and Reagans, haven't met too many of them, although I do know 2 of them, and they spell their name differently and they pronounce it differently, which drives me crazy. That's why I call him Mr. Mendoza for the record. So that's the name tag trick. Stay open and positive. Nobody wants to meet somebody who's negative, boring, and just a bad vibe. My mom has a turn from those folks, but we won't mention that on air today because it's not too nice. But you never want to be with somebody who's going to bring you down. And believe me, you could tell the people at an event that are bringing people down because they're the ones standing alone, reading their telephone. Oh, that's when it's not even, that's really modern, actually. Don't read your telephone. You're not there to talk to your telephone. Maybe you feel safe in your telephone. By the way, if you're feeling safe, that's the wrong place to be. Get out there on the edge. Do something different. Be a little exposed. That's how you're going to meet somebody new. Get out of your comfort zone. Remember, I talked about being in your comfort zone when you get there. Your mentor told you to go there. You're there with your friend or friends. That's a great way to meet people. You split up with your friend and then you get surrounded by a bunch of people. Now you're meeting all the people the other person's meeting and you're starting to go with the dry hand and the hi, my name is, and now you're really rolling. Now, how did I learn all this? Well, I once did it all wrong. I went to an event, was all upset. It was during the Lehman Brothers crash. It was the International Council of Shopping Centers, their annual event in Orlando. They hadn't started stopping you at the gate yet, so you could actually kind of walk in without a tag. So I walked in without a tag, and I networked. I caught a friend that was leaving. I got their tag. Can't really do this anymore because they got people at the door now. I walked around the event. I talked to everybody. I was looking for a position at the time. I asked them all if they had any ideas, and it was like a job fair. Everybody had their resume there. Nobody was offering anybody a job. It was really brutal. But I kept going. Hi, I'm Jim. Hi, I'm Jim. Hi, I'm Jim. Oh, finally, it was too much to take, and I had to leave the room. And it's a big convention center, so I walked away from I found a really quiet place at one of the unoccupied convention rooms, and they all have those long bathroom things where they got 6,000, well, not 6,000, probably 20 stalls. I looked underneath, I checked to make sure nobody was there, closed the stall, and lost it. Yes, I cried. I was that upset. Didn't know what to do. Was at a loss. I had to provide for my family and myself, and I was too young to just chuck it on the real estate career. Kind of like the way people are probably feeling in certain sectors of the real estate industry right now. I said, okay, that's enough self-pity. I went out, still was nobody there, washed my face, dried my face off, ran into one of the guys I know on the way out, but by then I was feeling good again. Talked to him a little bit, and then I went back in. The only people that were left at that point were the people I was totally terrified of. So what did I do? Went right up to him. And that was the person that had the lead. We sat there right on the trade show floor, called the guy. The lead was on the airplane taxiing, and he picked up the phone from this other guy, Mr. Big Shot. We'll call him what he is, Mr. Big Shot. Won't out him, but Mr. Big Shot. And he got me the warm call with the guy from the trade floor at the ICSC conference. I don't think you can have a more powerful introduction than that. So it went really great. But that's the power of staying positive and working it all the way to the end. And at that event, I was alone. I didn't have a friend, didn't have a mentor, was going from person to person. Each interaction would take one more cut at me because it was so tough, because the market was so hard. But in the end, I didn't really get the job from the guy on the plane, but the guy on the plane called somebody about a reference for me. That person is the one that gave me the job. Didn't even see that one coming, did you? But that's how it ended up. And the last thing I really want to touch on before we go to the break and then come back to the final wrap-up minute is I want to talk about being an intern. It's really important these days to be an intern, and it's a great way to network. And I've got a current intern right now, And how did I meet that intern? Because his friend referred him to me because his friend was my intern 2 years ago. And so I guess it must have done a really good job. Boy, am I proud of that. And so now I have my new intern. Both went to the University of Florida. Neither of them is in real estate, quite frankly. They're both finance majors. And they're actually teaching me more than I'm teaching them. So it's really great. And how did I meet him? He just called me up and he was just absolutely wonderful. He said, the first guy introduced, recommended he called. Did I have anything that I could do? And I said, I really don't know. But in the end, we've come up with a really good business plan. And we're going to be back. I'm going to take a quick break. And then I'm going to come back with the last word. And guess what? It's the best thing I'm going to say on the podcast. It's going to be something you can use today, right now, to make your life better. So stick with us. We'll be right back after this. And this is where I send it to the guy whose name I can never pronounce. So I just call him Mr. Mendoza. Oh, he's grooving on the music. I'm also grooving on my friends at Warren Henry. By the way, they're part of the last word. But our friends at Warren Henry, they're the epitome of what we're talking about, because when you go to Warren Henry, they always make you feel like you belong. Warren Henry is the best at the I don't know, I guess you got to call it networking part of car sales. I always get a call. I got a call this week. I'm going to go totally off script. I don't care. I got a call this week from the person that runs the service outreach. She is probably the most important person for Warren Henry, because they sell you cars, but they really make money on the service, I believe. I mean, that's what I read, I guess. And so the service appointment person called me, and she's now talked to me like 5 or 10 different times, and she's just the best. And we had a call, and I thanked her for calling and reminding me that I had to bring in my wife's car. And then I reminded her that she's the one that brings me back to Warren Henry, and she does it with the positive energy. So she is the outreach person for Warren Henry. I get calls from the people when it's time to sell my car, but the person that talks to me the most is the person that does the service. And they always treat me like family. They call me for all 3 cars, myself, my mom, and my beautiful wife, Vivian. I run all 3 of the cars for them. And my family feels great whenever they go over to Warren Henry. So that's the lesson, the tie-in for Warren Henry today. We're not going to go through the whole thing. We know they got their stores up in Gainesville that sell Audis. The one in the Keys sells everything. 151st and Biscayne. Well, they sell Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln. Then they have the 2 award-winning Land Rover, Range Rover stores in South Dade and in West Broward. Okay. But what they really have is great energy. And when you're buying a commodity like a car, you want to go to the place where you have great energy. And that's my friends at Warren Henry. So always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. So what's the key that brings all of this together? Well, let's go back to the ICSC story when I'm losing it in the men's room and just trying to get it back together enough to present a positive face. What did I do? How did I come back? It's called, I use positive self-talk. I said, this is BS. What are you doing in here? You go out there, you're a superstar. Everybody's going to want to hear from you. They're all going to want you on their team. So go out there and give them the opportunity to bring you on their team. And that's what I did. And I burst out of there, cleaned myself up, went out there, and I got myself a job. So that's what you got to do. The bottom line is positive self-talk. No matter how tough it is, no matter if it's your first time at the event or if it's your 50th time, doesn't matter. Sometimes you won't be 100% mentally. And if you're not, don't go, because everybody will be able to sniff out that weakness. They're all there. They all feel a little bit unstable. So realize that. Go in there, realize that you're a star, that you're there to make it happen, and that what you're bringing to the table is something that's going to help them right away. And if you start doing that right now, guess what? That's going to help you right away. And that's where I want to leave it. Remember, we drop a new podcast every Wednesday at noon. I want to thank our sponsors for, God, I don't know how many years now. I got to check it. Probably 12, 13 years. Warren Henry Automotive. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Ismet, my whole team over there. Jack, I love you all. Thank you for loving me back. And I want to also remind everybody, this was episode 770. I guarantee you that on every other episode, I wasn't always 100%, but I still made it because of my partners, people like Regan Mendoza, and because I practice the positive self-talk that I recommended today. So remember, reach out to me, call me. I'm solving problems for people in real estate every single minute of the day. I work with all kinds of family offices and institutions. I'll work with you too. Remember, noon Wednesdays, we drop the new podcast. Reach out to me. And the final thought of all is, boy, it ties right into this, doesn't it, Mr. Mendoza? The person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. Use your positive self-talk. This is Jim Freed. I'll see you all next week. Why? Because I just love doing this. Mr. Mendoza, the rest is yours.